Padilla.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate the opportunity to participate in this hearing today, which is our, at minimum, annual opportunity to ask questions as we fulfill our obligation to provide accountability over the Department of Justice. So just sort of to level set a little bit for folks in the audience and for folks watching at home, the Department of Justice is supposed to be the nation's guardian of fairness and the rule of law. The power of the Department of Justice is built on public trust and a belief that prosecutions are based on facts and law, not on politics or personal loyalty. And I call that out, Mr. Chairman, because when that breaks down, when the public trust breaks down, then justice itself is at risk. But under this Trump administration and the leadership of Attorney General Bondi, I believe the independence of the Department of Justice has come under attack. The department has been reorganized, it's been realigned, and repurposed in ways that we've never seen before. Important offices have been closed, key programs dismantled, and agents diverted, all without congressional authorization or transparent justification. Now, these are not minor bureaucratic changes. They represent a fundamental shift in the Department of Justice's missions and priorities, its policies, and its practices. Now, for example, career prosecutors have been pressured to change decisions in politically sensitive cases. Ethics oversight has been taken away from independent career professionals and handed to political appointees with little experience in these matters. Internal working groups have been created to revisit investigations involving President Trump and his allies. And together, these steps send a dangerous message that prosecutorial decisions can be driven by political loyalty instead of the law.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so everybody that knows anything about the Department of Justice right there knows that he is absolutely full of shit. Just outright, just blatantly full of shit. And I'm going to say that twice because it's exactly what it is. Congress does not dictate policy to the Department of Justice. I'm sorry, Congress does not dictate policy to any of the federal government. That is their own branch. They are co-equal, supposedly co-equal, or they're supposed to be, right? That's why I said supposedly, because I don't know how to use the English language properly. I can't even speak properly most of the time, so you know, what do I know, right? What am I talking about over here? Like imagine Pam Bondi sitting there listening to that speech right there, listening to him say, oh, and they made all these changes without the approval of Congress. Senator Padilla, yes, Padilla, is putting on a show for you guys at home, for all the deranged lunatics out there on the left that actually buy into the corporate press narrative and appeal to that authority and believe politicians when they say things. Because, yeah, politicians never lie, do they? No, they sure don't. But this is a fascinating interaction right here. Padilla, he gets kind of obliterated. See, I would say obliterated, but it's Pam Bondi, folks. Like Pam Bondi doesn't really obliterate anybody, right? I mean, she does kind of push back against him. I'll say that. I'll give her that. She's not the type of person that when she says things that would normally, like, rile up the base or whatever, it's just like, that was kind of cringe. I'm sorry. I like what Pam Bondi's doing with the Department of Justice. She's made some missteps, sure. But look, she's just not a very inspiring figure. Let's be honest about this. She doesn't have that charisma that most of Trump's cabinet has. So let's just be honest about that. But I do like what's going on in the Department of Justice. Yeah, I can't even use the English language properly, but it's okay because we're going to get through this, y'all. You guys do me that favor. Smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can, and click the join button. Sign up and become a member. That's the best way to help this channel expand and grow. And I'm sure you guys have heard that ad nauseum. So I'm sorry, but, you know, they say if you don't ask, you don't receive. So it is what it is. Let's get into it.
Now, even more troubling is that the Department of Justice has pulled resources away from organized crime, away from counterterrorism, away from the protection of civil rights to focus on immigration enforcement. The American people expect a Department of Justice to pursue violent crime, as do I. To pursue corruption and threats to national security, not to serve as an arm of immigration policy, and in so doing, under-resource other critical missions. Now, the Justice Department's credibility depends on the public's faith in justice, and that the justice will be applied equally to every person and not reserved for the powerful or the connected. And that faith must be protected. And so it's in that spirit that this committee has a duty to ensure the department's work remains lawful, remains transparent, and remains true to its highest duty, the fair and impartial administration of justice. Now, that being said, I do want to get into some specific items with Attorney General Bondi here, beginning with the firing of Michelle Beckwith. Michelle Beckwith was a 15-year career prosecutor with the Department of Justice. She prosecuted in her career some of the worst in my home state of California: sex traffickers, transnational terrorists, those who this administration claims to care about and be targeting, prioritizing in taking them off the streets. And it may surprise some to learn that Ms. Beckwith was unceremoniously marched out of her office and fired from her job in July of this year. Why? Not because she failed to do her job, quite the opposite. It was because she had the audacity to remind Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino that he was obligated to follow a court order and the Constitution in California. According to reports, she was fired less than 6 hours after she told Bovino he couldn't arrest people without probable cause. 6 hours. So my first question, Attorney General Bondi, is a simple yes-no question. Do you believe that government officials like Gregory Bovino are obligated to follow applicable court orders, whether they agree with them or not, yes or no?
First, Senator Padilla, you have gone on for over 5 minutes, and I wish that you loved your state of California as much as you hate President Trump. We'd be in really good shape then, because violent crime in California is currently 35% higher than the national average. Property crime in California is 18% higher than the national average. That should be something that we should be talking about and working together on, yet we're not. And no, this is important. You're talking about all of my agencies, and I want to let you know what DEA has been doing, and they are working hand in hand with
I appreciate that. And I'm
no, you can't go on for 5 minutes and criticize my agents who are out working without pay right now because you voted to shut down the government. They're out there working without pay.
Mr. Chairman, I asked a simple yes or no question. Attorney General Bondi is refusing
4,500 kilos of fentanyl and 50 million fentanyl pills off the streets.
While under your watch,
FBI, 23,000 violent criminals. U.S. Marshals, 51,000 fugitives.
I'm not getting an answer to my question. I'm trying to move on to the next question or the next topic. Mr. Chairman, order, please. Thank you. Because under Attorney General Bondi's watch, career prosecutors are being fired for telling agencies to follow the law and uphold the Constitution. Meanwhile, there are instances of allies of the president who seem to be getting let off the hook. I won't reiterate what some of my colleagues have already brought up in terms of the dismissal of the investigation into Tom Homan and his alleged acceptance of $50,000 as payment by undercover FBI agents posing as business executives looking to secure contracts with a future Trump administration. Because if the reports are true, it's not just the underlying conduct of Mr. Homan, which would be absolutely unacceptable, but the dismissal of the investigation charges raises concerns about the influence of the White House on the Department of Justice. Again, a simple question, and I'd appreciate a simple and brief answer. Whose decision was it to end this investigation?
I have answered that question multiple times, yet you didn't have the courtesy to be sitting in here for the hearing. I'm not going to answer it again. And I find it interesting that you want order in this proceeding now. Excuse me, Senator.
Then
you
I will
want
ask a
order in this
follow-up question.
proceeding
Mr.
now.
Chairman, order,
you sure
please.
didn't
I
have
will ask a
order when you
follow-up question.
stormed Secretary Noem
Mr. Chairman,
at a press
Mr.
conference
Chairman,
in
order,
California,
please.
did you?
I will ask a follow-up question. Would you commit to either releasing the tape or at least making it available for members of this committee to review, yes or no?
Senator, you have not been sitting in here this entire hearing. I've answered the question, and I also want to tell you that our ATF agents have seized 25,000 illegal firearms.
So we will try again and move on to a different
In your
topic.
home state, we are prosecuting
Chairman,
illegal
order,
aliens
please.
who have raped
Mr.
and
Chairman,
murdered young
order, please.
girls.
Thank you. So when I haven't been in this hearing, I've been watching from my office, monitoring the entire hearing, just so everybody is aware. But since I'm not getting answers to my questions, I'll try to ask one last subject area. Now, again, there's been increasing concerns about the politicized decision-making and the erosion of internal safeguards that protect prosecutorial independence. Before we even get into the integrity and independence of prosecutions, we get into, you have to ask the question about the independence and integrity of investigations themselves. The director of the FBI, Director Patel, was here before us just a few weeks ago. Attorney General Bondi, you are the Attorney General of the United States. Director Patel reports to you. Do you believe he's doing a good job, yes or no?
I believe Director Patel is doing a great job. You know where he is right now, Senator Padilla? Right now, you asked me a question.
Yes,
Director
I know
Patel
where he
right
is,
now
and I know where
is in
he's headed
Chicago,
because you said
Senator
it earlier
Durbin,
in the hearing.
fighting to keep
You've said
Chicago
it earlier in the
safe.
hearing, and yes, I have been paying attention.
You know, you want order in
Chairman.
here now, yet you stormed the Director of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. You sure didn't have order that day, did you, Senator?
Attorney General, you are under oath. I did not storm the secretary, the video.
Oh, that was
makes
on
that very
video. That
clear.
video has been released, I believe, very publicly.
Mr. Chairman, recent actions raise serious concerns about Director Patel's judgment and politicization, including lawsuits from former FBI officials alleging retaliatory firings and his decision to cut off longstanding partnerships with civil rights organizations and his decision to fire an FBI agent for refusing to engage in a, quote, perp walk of James Comey. And on top of all that, his prematurely claiming that subjects were in custody after the shooting of Charlie Kirk. I take Attorney General Bondi's endorsement today of his work as her support for those actions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
May I respond, Senator Chairman?
Yes.
Under Director Patel, 23,000 violent criminals have been arrested, a 91% increase over last year. More than 1,500 child predators have been arrested. We are making cases in your jurisdiction constantly in California, and I wish you would care about those cases. We have disrupted 1,600 gangs and criminal enterprises, 1,600 gangs within this country, thanks to Director Patel and the great men and women of the FBI.
So, Senator Padilla, are you sure you did not storm that press conference? Are you sure about that? You're absolutely sure that, I mean, the video has been widespread.
Hands up, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
Many of our ICE agents have been docked for doing their duty.
Even pressing charges for what we just witnessed here.
Oh, you know what? I don't even know the senator. He did not request a meeting with me or to speak with me. So when I leave here, I'll have a conversation with him.
Yes, he did storm that press conference. Did not notify Secretary Noam he was coming. None of those things. He just shows up. And then he wants to lie about these things. And once again, folks, see, if he's willing to lie about something so easily fact-checked, do you think he'd be willing to lie about something that isn't so easily fact-checked? Right? Something, I don't know, a little bit obscure, a little bit esoteric. Maybe the average everyday American may not be able to just find a simple Google search for the fact that, you know, the DOJ is actually doing work now. They have de-weaponized the DOJ. You know, that's not something you can just go look up. You must stay with your nose down into the news constantly to figure these kind of things out, right? You would have to be in the news during the entirety of the Biden administration and looking at, you know, the DOJ being weaponized, arresting Trump's, not only his lawyers, but his accountants, his treasurer, anybody and everybody, all the way down to his freaking valet. That is right. His valet got arrested. His lawyers for writing up legal arguments, for goodness sakes. Yes, they arrested, I don't know how many, like a dozen of Trump's lawyers. It's just truly insane, the narrative that they try to portray on us. And what I find so fascinating, once again, I got into another argument with a commenter today. That this person happens to be real, though, because he's commented several times, and I've had meaningful discussions with this person, but, you know, he's livid about what's going on in Chicago, folks. And what's going on in Chicago is a lot of manipulation, a whole hell of a lot of manipulation, right? We covered an article, I forget, Sunday, maybe it came out Monday, maybe, I don't remember exactly, but talking about ICE. You know, this judge issued a ruling pretty much stopping ICE from deploying tear gas or pepper balls or any of that stuff unless it's necessary, and they must be warned first. And apparently, now the left is saying, oh, ICE is violating these court orders. There's no proof. This is not on video. And once again, if you do see a video, I can guarantee you it's going to start right when they fire tear gas, or right when they shoot a pepper ball at somebody or something like that, right? Like, it's going to start. They're not going to show you where they instigated what ICE finished, essentially. It's fascinating, folks, because that's a key tactic of the manipulation. This is how you manipulate people. This is why when you see police brutality videos, it always starts off with the cop assaulting somebody, right? You never, ever see. Right? This is why it took forever to figure out that George Floyd was a POS, as a matter of fact. We had to look into his background, and it took forever, right? We didn't actually see good video until the body cam footage come out. And then we found out, hang on just a second, Derek Chauvin was not even the arresting officer, and yet he's serving, 20 to life? Hang on just a second. There is something really, really wrong with this situation right here, but this is how you know you're being manipulated, and whether you want to see it or not. This is what I told this guy, you know, like, what's going on with ICE? You always got to think to yourself, anytime, any situation like this, like ICE assaulted somebody, oh my God. Well, what did those people do? Because look at it like this. ICE, they are not, you know, just bullies running around. This is not the Gestapo, right? These people have a job to do. They do not do crowd control, right? This is secondary. This is them defending themselves. So they are not going to go out and start pepper spraying people for no apparent reason, folks, right? They have to wear body cam. They know they are being scrutinized by the corporate press, so they are walking on freaking eggshells. And not only that, but they're getting terrorized. They're getting an endless stream of death threats that are actually coming to fruition, folks. We've seen assault after assault after assault, right? With these people actually taking out ICE officers, for goodness sakes, ramming their cars. Like this dude even brought up this woman ramming her car into an ICE vehicle, and the guy argued that the ICE vehicle rammed his car into hers. Like, hang on just a second. Wait a minute. It's on video of her ramming the ICE vehicle, my dude. Yes. Go look it up, by the way. These people are truly insane that are out there that are defending ICE. I don't see this going anywhere nice, folks, because the Trump administration is absolutely not going to back down. They're going to violate these court orders. It's almost certain, because one of these ICE officers is going to yell out, "We're going to pepper spray you," and nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to record that. They're going to start recording when ICE starts spraying pepper balls at somebody. And then there's going to be absolutely no evidence. I mean, unless they have their body cam on, which I hope for their sake that they do. Right? That's how it is, folks. Once we get the body cam, the evidence is always clear at that point. Like the left, a lot of people actually thought that, once all these police officers have their body cams and they're constantly, recording interactions or whatever, we're going to see an endless stream of police brutality. Did that ever come to fruition? No, as a matter of fact, we've seen I don't know how many exonerations from body cam. We've seen many people get assaulted, saving police officers' careers, the body cams has. So the body cam has done nothing but good for the police and nothing but bad for these criminals out there that are actually bad guys. Right? And I don't understand that idea. The left, they don't understand. They don't think people are evil for some reason, it seems like. But none of this, folks, is going anywhere good. You've got Donald Trump sending in the National Guard, a judge agreeing that, yes, Donald Trump can absolutely federalize the National Guard, but stopping him from deploying the National Guard. Now, what's the point in that? Like, seriously. And it's up to Donald Trump whether he's going to defy that or not. I'm sure it's going to go to appeals, but what are we doing here, folks? Where does this end, by the way? Because we have nothing but an endless stream of assaults on ICE, endless stream of assaults on federal buildings. These people, they're so-called peaceful protesters, are rioting. They are insurrecting the government, as a matter of fact. And they want to call it a peaceful protest. This is just giving me flashbacks from 2020, folks. This is not going anywhere good. You've got J.B. Pritzker telling them to get out of my state. Where do you think this goes, folks? The Trump administration absolutely has a right to defend federal property. I mean, look at Brandon Johnson. Look at some of those orders, some of those executive orders. Oh, my God. Calling for ICE-free zones. Like ICE cannot go to an empty parking lot to kind of coalesce and come together and do whatever they got to do before they raid a business or an apartment building or whatever it may be. Trying to prevent that. You've got lawmakers in California trying to bring up measures to where if ICE wears masks, the local police will arrest federal law enforcement. Does this go anywhere good, folks? No, it doesn't. Absolutely it doesn't. I do not like what I'm seeing, and this is entirely the fault of these far leftists. I'm not even really poised to call them far leftists, to be honest with you, because that is mainstream Democrat ideology, as a matter of fact. Let's protest law enforcement, for crying out loud. And then what's funny is all the moving of the goalposts here. All of it, right? Because at first it was, no human is illegal. No human is illegal. And now what do you hear from most of the Democrats? Well, of course we want to get rid of the hardened criminals that are in the country illegally. Is that so? Well, then what happened under the Biden administration? If you guys love strong borders and you want to get rid of the hardened criminals that are in the country illegally, then what happened? Why were y'all completely silent during the Biden administration? And that seems to be a revolving trend, don't you think? Look at Epstein. Completely silent. Now they're gnashing their teeth about it. It's fascinating, don't you think? How can we try to compromise? How can we try to make policy with people that deny reality, that will actively lie to your face? Nuh-uh, I didn't say that, right after saying whatever they said. How do we deal with folks like that? How do we deal with the corporate press that are constantly trying to manipulate everything? And how do we deal with people that actually believe it, that don't care about the truth whatsoever? They don't care about the truth. They don't care that they're being manipulated. They just care that, oh, somebody told me something I like, so therefore it's true, and you are a scumbag if you desire or seek out the truth. Is that so, my dude? Fascinating that is. I think I've rambled on for long enough. I just noticed the timer. I didn't think I'd gone for that long, folks. I'm sorry. But you guys, y'all let me know. I could keep going if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section, y'all. Seriously, like, I just don't like what I'm seeing. And, you know, you start putting pieces together, what Democrats are saying, and everything that they're saying, like, on the mainstream, and it's like, that's kind of extreme. That's not far left. There is no more far left. As a matter of fact, the Democrat Party itself is far left. The vast majority of it. Now, I'm not talking about voters, because there's many voters out there that are upset with Democrats right now because of where they're at policy-wise, right? It's insane. Like I said, I could keep going, but I'm not going to. You guys let me know what y'all think. Don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere that you can. That's the best way to help. The second best way to help this channel out. The number one best way is click that join button. Sign up and become a member. That would really, really be a big help, you guys. But y'all make sure and do all that for me. And y'all remember that God has a plan for everybody. And he loves each and every one of you out there. So y'all try to have a good day and stay logical. Peace.